All right. Hey, what's up, Polar fam? This is Shib Bear here for our weekly community AMA, joined with me by Julian up here on stage for our weekly community AMA on this beautiful August 10th, 2022 at 8 p.m. UTC, 4 p.m. EST, 3 p.m. CST, 1 p.m. PST, and wherever you might be in the world very early in the Australia and New Zealand regions from what I've learned as well. So all sorts of things to go over today. Maybe not quite as much as I wanted, but there's definitely some things to go over in reference to the last week. So first, I'd like to go into a huge thank you to everyone in here for participating in that lottery, sticking with us, and kind of going over each and every one of those aspects there as we managed to get that lottery live last week. That is one of the big things I want to get out there is lottery did go live. If you have not yet participated, please check that out. I put the instructions on the general announcements so you can go through that and get all the announcements there for that lottery, get the step-by-step on that. I've also shouted out on Twitter, so if you have not seen that tweet, go get us some information out there and retweet and like and interact with that to get the word out. Next things to come are the version 3.5 and the versions 4.0. So just today, Enor provided me with some additional information on the updated website and DApp. And I think we're going to all be very, very impressed. We're putting together a teaser for it to get released as soon as possible. But he did show it to me today. So I do know it's here and it's actually pretty cool. So we look forward to getting that out to you guys. Once we get that teaser out, I think you'll see what I'm talking about there. But that'll allow us to kind of see some of the work that's being done and being implemented as we kind of navigate towards the 3.5 and the 4.0. We're also getting some updated timelines from Dev or from Josh as a lead dev, as well as additional front end kind of work and all that kind of cleaned up as well. So that should be coming sooner rather than later. Like I said, I've been told that we're working on a teaser. I saw this video myself, so I know that there's something there. They're just going to try to tweak it to make it look a little bit more crisp, and then we will get that out for the people of Polar to go into and either, appreciate or not. I guess that's up to you, but hopefully we appreciate that because it's been a long time coming, a lot of work, a lot of updates need to start going live, and I think we're getting to a point where we finally are going to start seeing them rolling out here in the next days, weeks, who knows, but I don't want to quote a day. Some of you get mad at me for not doing that, but I'm not a dev. I'm a community manager, so shout out to the CMs of the world. But we expect that to start coming out sooner rather than later. Let's see here. And there might actually be a surprise teaser during this AMA. So if there is, I will let you guys know and let you know to check it out. So without further ado, if you guys do want to participate in some of the questions on this AMA, of course, you can simply request to speak and we'll bring you up live here. Or, of course, you can also post your questions in the AMA Questions Weekly channel that I've tagged there in the community announcements in our Discord. And from there, you can ask us questions that we will answer live in here. Please try to keep that information to the AMA Questions Weekly. I don't want to miss the questions that will be done. If possibly you post them in general chat, we may not see them. Please try to keep them to the AMA Questions Weekly. I'll check everywhere just in case, or request to speak so I can talk with you guys live, either or. I love to do all of it. So maybe we can start getting right into those questions. I know that was only a 4-minute intro, 5-minute intro, but I feel like I've gone over a lot of information, brought a little bit of motivation to our room to uplift our day here in this polar world, to uplift that frosty polarness that we're all feeling in our veins. So is there any questions that we may answer from those written questions?
So the first question after last week is from Emilius. I was wondering if we could use the treasury money to invest in dividend-paying stocks, preferably monthly payers with quarterly mixed in, of course.
Yeah, so we are talking right now. I've just talked with Enor yesterday and today about one particular investment opportunity that I very much so look forward to getting him some more information on, that he's shown some genuine curiosity. It's one of them that's out there that, let me see who's in our chat, if I can give it a little shout out to anyone in here. Anyway, it's something out there as an investment that I'm considering a low to mid risk as far as crypto is concerned, with a mid to high reward. So just personally, with my personal money that's in there that I've invested, my own dollars, not some business dollars, right? Which those are going in as well. But we are up 32% from the month before. And this isn't like a node project or a rebase project. This is an actual financial project. Financial development, I guess I could say, that uses some Python coding for those Python coders out there. So we might see some additional investments coming in. We have a big treasury. I want it to go to work for us. And I've identified a couple that Enor has expressed interest in, that I know the teams personally. I know who developed these things personally as well as professionally, and I have genuine faith in how they build these things here and the team in of themselves. So we'll work on that, get some of those things live, and we'll kind of start moving forward from there, hopefully sooner rather than later.
So, next question is from Paxban. After 3.5, we can't buy notes via Polar only with stables. What is the preferred stablecoin? What will be a Polar token for? Will it not cause more downtrend to the Polar token? Thanks a lot. And also, what will be a price of the notes with stables?
So I haven't heard of any price difference right now of how the nodes will work, but it's possible that they could be changing prices. I don't think that's going to be a thing, at least not with 3.5, but to me, that's something that would make sense, to have a difference of prices associated with the nodes out there. But anyway, sorry. Haven't had enough water today. Okay, and we're back. So with that being said, there shouldn't be a difference in prices as far as I'm concerned. They'll just be basically fixed to the price of Polar in reference to the amount of Polar that it would take. So the dollar amount of Polar there. From what I understand, I would like fixed prices, and I think we might be able to do that still if everyone else wants to as well. Again, just because I have an opinion certainly does not mean that that's going to be what will happen there. As far as I'm aware, the last I've heard, the stable will be USDC.E, but I'm not sure just yet. So give us some time. Let us get those announcements out there. But it will either be USDC, USDC.E, or DAI. Those are the only three that we've ever used in Polar. So I would very much so it's going to be one of those three. We'll get you certainly as much information as possible. Even if I have to do a Medium article, sit down and do it myself, I will, to get that information out to you before it goes live. But there is still a lot to be implemented there. And those things at the end, that's as simple as changing the code of the token associated with it. So it's not super complex to do. We can do that and make that decision officially as soon as we get that information from the lead dev and from Enor.
Great. Next question from WG. We're still seeing negative price action after the release of the lottery, and the price of the coin seems to be trending lower. How is V4 going to help attract new investors and/or stabilize the price of the coin?
Yes, that's another great question. So I've seen this pop up a few times, so I kind of want to address this. Polar has its own supply and demand variables, independent of that of AVAX or of anything else. So Polar is its own supply and demand, right? So when we have to mint new tokens every once in a while, that obviously does create a bit of an issue, because now there's more supply, and obviously the demand, if demand stayed the same and there's more supply of the token, then that would not be good, right? That would be a problem. That would create a negative price pressure. So until we get to that point where the demand is exceeding the amount of additional supply, the token price, by very, very simple economic theory, supply and demand theory, the most basic one out there, the token price will have a negative price pressure associated with it. There are a variety of ways to switch that around, one of which is a decrease emissions or decrease the new supply, and that could be done via an alternate event, which is increasing demand. So when we bring out these updates, we already have orchestrated and planned a second marketing push, and I've just demonstrated a pretty decent marketing push actually in a bear market that worked tremendously. So I think I have a little bit of a strategy that's economic for our investment purposes, but it's more it's great for DeFi right now during the bear market when there's not a lot of people going to YouTube who have never been in crypto. We need to try to get the people who are in DeFi to want to put more money into the project. Once we hit a bull market, you can drop a YouTube video out and you can get 1,000 new investors from it if you do it well enough, right? We're not in that stage. We have to be a little bit strategic with our marketing approach to make that almost like a grassroots movement as we start pushing forward into the 3.5 and 4.0. I'll reach out to Enor because I definitely would not mind leading that effort. As we see, I like doing AMAs. I will do 5 a day, and I can get something out. I can get a ton of marketing out there for a $10,000 budget, for example. Crazy amounts. So things like that are all doable and things that we're bringing into the system here. Ideally, we also need to address that supply variable because that's still a major issue.
The next question is from Cryptonorsky. Can we please have Enor on the AMA to answer questions directly?
Yeah, so that'll be up to him. Obviously, there is a language barrier. He's been up on stage occasionally. He can type out in English, but he's just not super comfortable with speaking in English. That's pretty much why I got hired way back in January. But of course, if he wants to jump on, this is his project and his rodeo, so he can jump on at any point. We'll talk to him there. Even when he makes just an appearance up there, he's literally DMing me this second, so he's active. Like he's currently doing stuff. But it's better for him to engage with us in text because English is not his primary language. We've even seen in some of the announcements sometimes, wording can get taken out of context, and that is what we're trying to avoid because PR is quite important, right? So I'll talk to him, see if he wants to jump up here at any point. But like I said, this is his party. It's his show here, so he can jump on whenever he'd like as well.
Yeah, actually, I read something a couple of weeks ago regarding that. Maybe we could have a written AMA together with Enor. I think it would definitely help the overall sentiment of the community, especially currently. But I don't actually know how something like that would work. Because he's already every now and then kind of jumping into chat and answering all the questions. So it's kind of an AMA.
Yeah, he does a lot of trying to engage with you guys there. So there is a variety of different things that we can do. I think I'm telling you, he's very active in DMs right now. So he is chatting quite a bit. So a written AMA might be a good solution to that. And I think he'd even like to do that. If you guys remember, like the initial team in Polar, they loved interacting with the community, and that's just where they are. It's what their personality is. They like to engage with you guys. Even I'll throw an old shout out to old Salty because he loved to be in the chats, chatting with you guys before he had to step away for his own personal reasons. So we like it. So we're not going to try to hide from you. I know Enor's been a little bit out of town. Obviously that happens, right? It is what it is there. We're okay. We're still building. We're still growing. Everything else is moving just as we want it to. So we'll get it there and we'll get it going. I think a written AMA would be pretty cool though.
I agree, yeah. The next question is from Wally. Is it true that Polar is considering buying into yield nodes?
I would not say that is true. I am personally in yield nodes. I like them. So I don't think I'm saying that as a bad way. I just don't think I wouldn't say that personally.
All right, that's a short and precise answer. The next one is from quark gluon plasma donor. I know I floated the get KD6 ASIC miners several times. The objection always is the cost of mining right now. KDA is a long-term hold though. So eat a few electricity bills for now to pay dividends later. I don't know. I think there's a follow-up question. Do we have plans for getting a DAG node with the treasury? Again, another long-term play that will be awesome later.
Yes, we haven't really talked about the DAG constellation nodes, but they are good. They're a great system, I'll say. So, it's something that we can talk about there. Our AVAX validator is either come to an end or is coming to an end. So we're going to have some free AVAX that's now been released that we can utilize in various aspects. So that'll open up some opportunities for different investments. That's kind of what I went into a little bit before. But I do want to have some of our treasury to start working for us while we're doing these builds because it's impractical to think the treasury, think of it like a bank account. If your bank account is just going down because you're building and there isn't any reason for it to go up because we removed a lot of the taxes, associated with it, then that's a not a good thing, right? That's a trend in the wrong direction. But if the Treasury is working for us in a variety of ways, I think that's a very good thing to look into as we navigate further.
Thank you. So the next question. I don't know if it's an actual question from Fender Bender. What is going on with the automated lottery? When, Josh?
So all I know is it was uploaded. It's contracted in to be automatic every 48 hours. I know that because I was in the chats when we were going over each of it. So I guess it didn't pull last night. Is that what they're getting at there? I had to
I
take a
think
little
so.
break from the internet last night, but I think that's the issue. I'll try to figure out the whatever might be have happened with it. Did the new one start yet? Do you know?
I actually don't know. I haven't looked into it.
All right, cool. I'll look into that and try to get an answer for that there because it should be automatically starting up and ending every 48 hours.
Okay, I think that's actually what Fender Bender was asking anyways. I'll just check real quick. Great, now my internet's not working. And there's still the second lottery is running. So I think the third one hasn't started yet, and the last one hasn't been ended.
I'm not sure what the question was there. Are they just asking about the lottery again?
I think Fender Bender was just asking about the automated lottery, kind of if it was implemented.
Yeah, so that
And it
went
was,
live.
so,
It's
yeah.
supposed to be automatic by the contract side of it. So, like I said, I'll try to get some more information on there, but that was the same as the last question, so we're good.
Okay, the next question from Lee Johns. What about possibly investing in real estate as potential future investments? Let's land a fancy polar apartment complex.
All right, so for all of our real estate Mongols out there, how many of us here in this, dang, 67 people AMA, shout out to you guys, but how many people here have actually invested in real estate? Raise your hands, either figuratively or in the real world. I don't really care. So let's go into there's a lot of pros and cons of real estate. You can invest in like kind of offhand real estate, like um, like REITs, which are basically real estate appreciation stocks, or you can invest in like brick and mortar houses, complexes, commercial buildings. All of that requires real work, and my father is one point in his life he owned like 42 houses as a renter. He was renting them out as he ran his other business. It is a nightmare and a half. Even having three or four is a nightmare. They ruin your house. The commercial, the AC goes out, you own it. There is so much work involved. For a real world investment, it is fantastic, by the way. But in crypto, I'm telling you right now, I can get more return than real estate can in crypto from my laying in my bed in the morning once a month. So keep that stuff in mind. There is some things to look into as far as real world investments go, and real estate could be a potential target at some point, of course. I don't want to exclude that, but it would have to be very strategic, and you need someone to manage those properties literally full time, whether it's commercial, private, or otherwise.
Perfect. Next question from CJ. Any info on the details of the Node Live decay system yet? For example, the length of decay, cost of portion, etc. In my opinion, the decay system couldn't come soon enough.
Yeah, so some of that needs to get going. I totally agree with you guys on there. I don't have any hard details just yet. Like I said, I do have a potential teaser if I can get the go to release it. He's trying to upload it to a little better form, or maybe will post it, either or. But we have a pretty decent teaser of the new DApp which is cool. It's I think we're all gonna like it there. And the great Enor is sending me a link right now, so I'm going to get some information from him. So there's going to be more information to come out on the 3.5 and the 4.0. But that being said, we don't have it just yet. I don't have that information for you, the hard information there. So we will get that to you as soon as possible, ideally with a full Medium article, so we know every step of the way what's going on with it.
Next question is from Keith Nicole. What's the name of the project you spoke about that returned 34% last month? Keen to do my own research to look at investing.
Yeah, so let's see. Shallst I name drop? Because I'm trying to see what I'm allowed to do. You know what? I'm not going to do it here yet. But if you would like to know my personal investments and you send me a DM, I'll talk to you a little bit about how I have my portfolio set up. I'm not going to put it out here, though, because I don't know if Enor wants that information out just yet.
All right, next question. Okay, that was the answer. Okay, next question from a person I can't pronounce the name of. I have an idea for the portions for V4, taking into consideration many people have like 40 notes and more. To make Polar sustainable is still fair to investors. Instead of one portion per note for whatever price the team comes up with, we purchase one portion at $1.5 to $2 per 5 notes created. So one portion at $2 covering 20 notes will be $8 lasting for 45 days. What do you think? Any amendments, a total disagreement, or agreement? It kind of got very, very theoretical there.
Yeah, so you put a lot of thought process into there. So unfortunately, though, I don't quite know how it's going to work just yet. So I don't want to mislead you guys or play anything on that. I know the generalization of how they're going to work, but I don't know, like, hey, they're going to cost this much, or you're going to be able to do this or that, or what if I sat on them? I really don't know the answers to those just yet, because they are, yeah, I guess relatively, some of these things I just don't personally know yet, and that's hard for me to try to quote something that I don't know personally just yet.
All right. Yes. Next. Next question again from CJ. Is a reduction in rewards again something that is on the table? 1% ROI per day would be more sustainable. Also, if there's another reduction, will we have fair warnings so our unclaimed rewards don't get slashed?
All right, so a couple ways to look at that there. I'm going to say personally, I would be very much so in agreement that the emissions are too high. And not everybody likes me to say that, but I don't necessarily make those decisions, right? I just, I basically just advise whatever I can based off what I've seen in my experience in other places. So I would personally love a system where the ROIs were, let's say, between 0.3% and maybe 1.2% at the highest, and then maybe an additional benefit if you were to stake Polar that would help make up for some of that difference of APR. But that's nothing that we're really in official talks about, so I want to be very clear on that. That's more so what my brain says and what the numbers kind of point me to, because we have to mint new tokens, and that's not good. So I think if the demand is not going to increase to the point that it's exceeding the additional supply, we have to reconsider what our APR is. You have to, unless we're just going to be an inflationary token, like a farm token, and go from there, but that's not the plan. So we have to start changing that approach at some point. There's a variety of ways to do it. There's more ways to solve one problem than just one, of course. So there's a lot that's going on in reference to all that. I'm in pretty in-depth discussion with Enor on each and every step of there. I know for a fact he wants to get this 3.5 and 4.0 out and see how the markets, polar markets, the internal market kind of reacts to it, because that could what if it does increase our demand and we don't have to bring the APR down that much, for example? That being said, okay, so this is again, I'm not going to go into this because people are going to take it out of context. Trying to get people notice, if possible, is always a good thing. So I'm going to put that out there. If we can give notice, I certainly would recommend it. That being said, there are certain times in a protocol's history, maybe not just Polar, we'll just say in general, where the emissions rate is just so out of control that there has to be a decision made. Kind of like what we did that one time where we had to reduce emissions quickly. That, I guess, it theoretically could happen. Enor does not want to do that. I do not want to do that. So I'm going to be very, very open and clear and honest about that. But I don't think it's the worst thing in the world that could happen. Like, I was an investor before I was a community manager. I was a community manager and an investor before I was on the team as a community manager, right? So if Enor came to me, just like he did last time, by the way, a few minutes before the reductions went live, I didn't go in and claim. I knew they were going to happen. I said, okay, let's get the announcement ready, because this is something that was for the betterment of the entirety of the project, not just me personally. Obviously, I don't really claim for anything except to make lucky boxes every once in a while. But that being said, there's different elements to that. So ideally, we can give an ample notice. I am a little bit worried about us giving notice and then the rewards pool immediately running out, because everyone's going to go in and claim. And then we have to mint an additional 1 million tokens to put us in the hole further and increase our recovery time by X amount of time from that. I don't think that's a net positive. So those are all things to consider. And that's kind of like from that CEO level. And I'm going to let Enor kind of make that final decision on. I'm just here to put in my own word, kind of guide the conversation as I can. But really, this is his project, his decisions, and I'm going to roll with them. And whatever he does there, I would be more than happy to, facilitate that vision for either or, to be honest.
So the next question is from Meowface, which is a little bit okay. I'll just read it anyways. When passive income. It was fun paying my rent a couple of times with my cash.polar before it went down to 1 penny. I still want to get back the last 30% of my initial and maybe even make some real profit from my investment here someday. Is it still possible?
Well, I'll go into my old possible speech like an old father joke. Anything is possible. The world could end tomorrow. You could wake up with a billionaire lifestyle because you've won some mega lottery in the world. We can get overtaken by dinosaurs and the oceans could rise to a point that none of us will be in existence. Or the crypto markets and Polar included could pump, 100 times overnight. Who knows? The realm of possibilities are endless. That being said, if you believe in the totality of the vision of this project, one, if you only have 30% to make up, you're in a good position right now. You're in a place where you can actually obtain that. Others are way, way further away from that realization, so it's very hard for them to mentally materialize that kind of vision, right? So, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm not saying, hey, you should be thankful that you're down. Of course not, right? We got into this to make money. That's why you created a node or got involved with a node protocol. So what I would say is you have a node. It's not like a rebase token where you sell a token and you no longer have the token. It no longer rebases. This node is going to continue to distribute Polar at whatever defined rate, no matter what, right? So ideally, we can get this back on the right track and then continue to, we'll facilitate an increase in appreciation in the token price over time, which would then create not just a break-even point, but a mental realization that maybe you can make more from it. That being said, I am not a financial advisor. I've not told people to invest. I've never told people to hold. That's on everyone's decision. If anything, I've told you, do not take out a loan to invest into anything in crypto, because that's what the financial mindset in me would say, right? So, we're going to keep working. We're down bad as far as the token price is concerned. I totally get that. And there's no, I've heard people say, well, you guys are blaming the markets. Go ahead, quote me one time blaming the markets. Polar, we're our own supply and demand variables, and we need to do better, both on the supply and the demand aspect of this project. I'm very, very clear on that. So we're going to work hard. It's our goal to make a product that actually where people can feel like they're going to earn and win off of it, right? That's why you would get more people to invest into it. So all that in mind, I know it's a long-winded answer, but we're here to work. We're here to try to build. I think with some of these updates, it will help. I think we might also need additional changes to the protocol in the near future. But that being said, I'm here to guide the ship and help us all as a community and as a project grow to where we can be a place where we're super happy and Polar is popping, because that was amazing. January, February, March, even into April, we were like top of the world. So we can get back there. I know we can. We just have to be very strategic. And I think we need to do things a little bit differently than maybe we have in the last couple of months.
All right. Next question is from Lee Jones again. Could we start using Twitter Spaces for the AMAs? Definitely has the potential to bring new people into the project.
Yeah, so if anyone was here when I first started doing AMAs, I did them only on Twitter Spaces. And we would get a couple people. But the Twitter Spaces, I'll say, is more of a place to get new people. These Discord AMAs are the best way for me to engage with our direct community. And that's why I'm doing these ones. This is me going to you guys one-on-one, get you some info, give you an outlet to talk to us, to reach us directly, express concerns, express suggestions, ask your questions, whatever it might be. This is my outreach to the community, to you guys. The additional marketing aspect of bringing in new people is a whole different industry. And I'll be honest, have you guys participated in Twitter Spaces recently? They are not doing super well right now. I've done them even with decently sized people for other stuff, and man, they're not hitting right now. And you kind of have to gauge that. So having an element of Twitter Spaces is always good. I know one time we were able to kind of multi-stream it, but it was at a pretty significant delay. And I didn't love that. It was hard for me to try to answer questions on there. You wouldn't be able to hear each other anyway. It was kind of a mess. But maybe I could start doing separate AMAs as a Twitter AMA and just kind of try to make it a little bit more broad, get that thing going for everyone here. I think that might be, I'll look into it and see if we can market that a little bit as well.
Okay, I think this was the last question.
So I have something that I want to release to us all here on these announcements. But what do I need you guys to get this going? I think all I'm going to ask, I'm going to post a question here in the general chat, and I'm going to need, I don't know, what seems like a reasonable amount of reactions. 20, 30, 100, 1,000. What are the reaction total that we need to get on this here comment for me to give you guys this teaser? Let's see. If we want, so teaser release of new DApp. Need how many emojis need? Let's see. A 100. Keith. Whew. Let's go with 30. Yeah, we could do 30, right? I'll be here long enough to get 30 for sure. All right, and hit it, Fergie. Let's see. This is a good test. It's got to be the fire. Got to be the fire one. We have 60 some odd people in our chat. 64. So come on now. We are at 18 and 19. Once we get 30, hit them emojis in the general chat, and then we will get this going. I might even do a little bit of this. Why no? Why no? Get this here. Get that 30 reaction. Get them fire emojis. No, don't hit mine, you crazies. Hit the top one. Let's see. The time's a ticking. Tisk tisk. If we don't hit 30, I guess we might be SOL on this one. The unfortunate,
you have 30 on the at here.
Do we have 30 on the here?
Actually 40.
Okay. All right, cool. Hey, that works. All right, guys. Check the general announcements in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. check out that file. Let us know what you think. We are here for you. This is a good update of the work done. That's going to be with the updated DAP. So check that out. Check that out. Check that out. Please go into that there. That's all right. They got 44 on my other one. That's fine. That's cool enough for me. So, that'll work. So. Where are we here? All right. Hopefully you guys do like that. That's You need a decryption key. Do you really? Mine opened.
Mine did too.
Who needs a... Why do you guys need a decryption key? Mine opened just fine. I think if you're on
Maybe it's
mobile,
a
it might act a
browser
little
issue.
differently. So click on the link. Click on the link itself. Yep, it's going to be a Unity adaptation. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit more information about what we're building on there. But that's going to be the difference maker. Click on the link. Click on the link itself, not just the embed. Let me get rid of the embed. Okay, click on the link itself. Hopefully that solves the issues. So I'll kind of let them go into all of that there. Let's see. I'm going to post a secondary link that'll be maybe a little bit easier for you guys to use. Edit that. Let's see if we can get this new link up here. This one might be better.
Seems like it worked for most people.
Yeah.
Maybe it's actually a browser or device problem.
Yep, this one will be better too. I just updated the link so it'll be even easier for them. So simple enough. All right, cool. Well, that's cool. I actually got to give you guys a little bit of something here to work with, and that allows us to kind of navigate through that all there. So let us know your feedback on it. I genuinely want to know. I don't know if more questions have popped up since then, but it's only been 40 minutes, so it's really not a long AMA. If there are questions in there, bring them up, and I'll kind of navigate through that. All right. Well, have there been any other questions that popped up? Sorry, I'm not able to. I didn't look at that there.
Oh, okay. Actually, there's one. So, does it just have one of each node, or does each node you have appear?
I'm not sure I understood. Let me try to read that to see if I can understand better. Does it just be one of you? Are they talking about the life potions?
No. The question is from Kramer, and here she is asking about the new DApp. We can see the mountains there, and they're asking about: do you just see one of each node, or do you see all of your nodes?
Oh,
your NFTs
on the new DApp?
Mountains. Yeah.
I don't know. So I do not know on that. I was getting DMs to put out that information while I was talking to you guys. So I'm trying to to navigate that there. I don't know the specifics of the DApp. So shout out to that. But that's the latest I got, that update there. Let's see. What are buildings in the new DApp? That's a good question too. I think there'll be some things introduced there. I know there was a different layout mechanism going on, so lots of good things on that end there. Ooh, there's a good question from Gadget. I'll kind of let you read that one though.
Oh, okay. Question from Gadget. There's a silver Everest in the market. How do you get a silver Everest?
So the old silver and gold nodes, right? So I believe that was the April update. So as we updated there was one person who won, one wallet that would win one. There was one of each of these ever created, silver and gold for each tier of node. So these went out. I believe it was a random airdrop to node holders, and then so there was a few lucky people who got those silver and gold. So that silver one is a one of one. There are no more than that. I believe I still have the tokenomics of it. Maybe not updated because we had some changes, and quite frankly, I don't really know the update of that one. But I'll try to get that as well to get that information out to you guys. It might be on the DApp somewhere though. But that being said, there is just one of one. So the only way to get that one right now is if you buy it on that marketplace.
Yeah, we had earlier this week we had kind of a confusion about it in the general chat because people didn't know what it was about. It's kind of nice to see it again. I thought I'd never see Silver Martin again.
Yeah, so that was I did see that discussion in there. Sorry for that delay there. So we'll kind of go in, we'll filibuster just for a minute here, see if there are any additional questions that pop up. So those little buildings do look cool. I don't know necessarily how they're going to be implemented. I don't know if they're going to be new NFTs. I'm not sure if it's going to be some in-game thing. I'm not entirely sure, but that would be sweet. So let's keep our minds, going. Who knows? It's limitless. I truly don't know. I'm not keeping a secret from you. But that being said, I think that there is some things that we can work on there, and we can kind of push that forward.
Question from Meowface: do polar bears live in the buildings?
Like I said, the imagination can run wild. Maybe polar bears live on the buildings or under the buildings. We don't know. I don't know what polar bears do, but I would imagine they could probably get cold. So I would put them in a building if I were me, but I'm not sure what kind of game that's going to be. I don't want to sit here and create some environment that someone's going to come back to me in 3 months and, hey, you said polar bears will be in the buildings, and then they're not in there. So don't let me run myself into that rabbit hole, please, because I definitely will.
There's a nice comment from Lee Johns. Polaris's in-game currency should be Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I wish. That good old throwback to the 90s, that Coca-Cola bear. That's the living the dream back in the day with those glass bottles. Good old days. Don't know if they still do that. I don't think so. You got to find them if you're going to use the glass bottles.
I think they do. I think they do. I think at least in Europe. Last year I drank out of a glass bottle.
Yeah, you gotta search high and low over here. Everything's plastic because we like to pollute our oceans. So we just keep throwing plastic into there, apparently. All right, so I'm just trying to go over all the different outlets. Have we covered everything? I don't think I missed anything, but I may have. So let's go through these chats, make sure we didn't miss anything there. All right. Get into the questions. Coke sponsor when. Muckman, you're still typing, so I'll give you a second there. Creative Code's coming back for version 4.0. I would not count on it. So I wouldn't bank on that. If they do come back, I'll put out an announcement for it. But I would not count on it because I've not even had that discussion with Enor in a while. I feel like there was some issues with when we became like a formal business, kind of that side of it, that would be difficult to implement that aspect of it. So if they do come back, it's because we got it all legally sound. We would like to get them back in the future regardless, but I cannot sit here and promise you just when, and I don't think it's going to be before the version 4.0. All right. Anything else there that we can answer for people that you are aware of?
I'm just rereading the chat. hmm I don't think so actually. There's a lot of hyped comments, but no questions.
Heck yeah. Hey, love it. I'm glad I was. See, this shows us though. This shows us that Polar is still right. You guys are out here and you want this information. We had 60 something in this AMA. That's a great turnout. Like every week we're going up little by little. Every single week up little by little by little. So that's fantastic. You guys are here ready for this information. This is what frustrates me at times is you guys are you're ready to accept all these updates and all the information and everything there. We just have to get them to you. So when there's people that are negative in the chats, it's somewhat frustrating to me at times because we know what the majority of the community is looking for, and that's just for these things to come out. You guys want to see these updates. You want to see the work that we're doing because you, inside your soul, whether you like to or not, you still love and believe in our family here to grow and thrive and prosper. And we all believe that. And that's why we're here working with and for Polar and for the community that represents Polar. So we're going to keep getting these things out here to you guys. I think that's what we owe you, each and every single one of you, on every single element here. Ideally, we can get this 3.5 out sooner rather than later. I would really appreciate to have that out. Obviously as quick as possible. I think you guys would love to get that difference of interaction, but also it brings a little different element to the node game, which is fun. It's new things are always good, and yeah, there might be a little shaky start. It is what it is. Who cares? We'll navigate through it. If we need to adjust a little bit, we certainly can. We're all humans. We're not, we're not Amazon. We're not going to sit here and you can't change anything because you can't reach the top. You can tag Enor, you can tag me, you can tag anyone on the team, and we can all read your comments, and we all read the chats every single day and go through them. So we're all here to kind of to grow and learn. I combined those two words together as we continue to progress this on DeFi and to become a thriving aspect of not just the now, but the future. I know times have been hard, but we definitely appreciate you guys for sticking around, battling through the highs and lows of the markets. We're still around. We're still kicking. We still have a good treasury. We're still working. We still have liquidity. We're still kind of navigating this space the best that we can. The markets have been doing well the last couple of days. Hype is returning. I think we're going to do pretty well as we start to get some of these things live here. So last shout out. Is there anyone who's wanting to speak, to ask a question? We're 50 minutes in, so it's generally about where we are for our AMAs.
There actually is another question in the in the AMA questions weekly chat from Cosmic Renegade. What if the creator code's percentage discount is passed directly into the purchase instead of it going back to the buyer? Can it be done that way? Maybe that will circumvent the legalities. I hope I pronounced it right.
Yeah, so all that stuff, kind of like I mentioned, there's ways to do it, right? So let's see here. There's ways around it. You can get a little tricky with it. So let's see, can it be done that way? There's ways to do it, and I think we just need to evaluate the different ways there. That would probably be a solution. I don't know so Enor operates obviously in France, so he's trying to abide by all the French regulations. I'm in Texas. I'm in the US of A, which we do have a lot of regulations over here too, but I at least know how to circumnavigate our laws from a tax standpoint and from a legality standpoint. I don't know Europe's. France is different than Germany, then it's different from Italy, then it's different from Spain and Poland and the Netherlands. Everyone's different over there. So I truly don't know what will be the best solution, but we would like to look into and identify and then supply that solution.
All right, we got a few more people typing. Another one type and another question right there. What's the max supply of the token? I see 8 million, but there's constantly increasing. Will it stop when you'll start burning, or will it continue? Or will it? I'm very sorry. Or you'll continue to increase the supply. Reduce ROI of nodes could be a better solution.
Yeah, so we're not a token that's designed to automatically increase in mints. So we have to manually mint more. We only do that when the rewards pool runs out. That is obviously a simple answer, but it is it's a real problem, right? Because obviously emissions are too high, and that's why we have to mint more tokens because claims are higher than the demand in. That's the black and white version of it. So I don't love that we're at 8 million. I wish we were still at 1 million, and I'd like to get us back there at some point. So there are ways to do it. There is a all right. So let me do some math here, right? So like I mentioned before, this is stupid math, but let's just do this real quick. If we were to invest, 500K into the thing that I have my money in and it returned 32%, right? That's a big number. That 500,000 is freaking huge. It's not going to do that. So this is hyperbolic, right? Anyway, that would generate 160,000 in revenue last month. At the current token price, what is it, 0.015 something? So if we were to facilitate that, and this is where people are going to start turning tables. So I'm sorry if that's what happens from this. Let's say we were to get that 160K in revenue, right? And we do a buyback and burn. That would be enough to buy back 10.66 million tokens in 1 month. This is kind of what I'm getting at, though, is there is a solution to this problem. We do need to open our realms of our brains a little bit. Even 1/5 of that, 2 million tokens per month. That's pretty good. That sets us up pretty well in the long term, right? For a $100,000 investment. Now, it could be 20% 1 month. It could be 40% 1 month. It could be 12%. It could be 100%. Who knows what we're going to get from that return because it does vary. But 1 month like last month, we would have been able to burn a very substantial amount of tokens. That's what I'm pushing, right? So I think it's possible, and I think that's a solution that we desperately need. And that would, yes, kegs, that would definitely help with price action. If we in 1 month took us back down to 1 million, which, hey, yeah, there'd be a price impact to that, but it would get us pretty dang close. Just saying. So there are solutions. So when everyone's like, hey, is Polar dead? Are we gone? Is there any way back? There's a way back. I have the way back in my head, and it works great on paper. Will it work in reality? Who knows? So many elements, so many things could change. But if we put in money and in 1 month it returned, 60%, holy heck, we'd have a huge pool to set off to the side and just use that for buybacks and burns, and we'd be set, right? So that's what motivates me. Using those numbers as our advantageous point, I think is possible, and I think we can get there. And unfortunately, I just went into this at the end of the AMA, so a lot of people might not get to this point. But that's what keeps my little hearts ticking, and they're beating every day. How many times a day beats me? I don't know, but nevertheless, I got a resting heart rate of like 48, but my active heart rate during AMAs is probably at least 60 something. Let's see where we're at right now. Yeah, we're at 68, so we're pretty hyped right now. So keep that stuff in mind. There is a solution. There is always an opportunity to move forward. So stay with us, help us out, help us with that sentiment, because I think we can get out of this quicker than what people expect. So let's keep that in mind. We'll keep working, keep building, and let's get creative and make a difference here.
All right, we have 3 people still typing. Let's wait for their messages. Maybe it's a question. Oh no, we have actually 4 people typing. Or even more. Question from Keith. Will the new dev work on mobile properly?
I do not know the answer to that. I hope so. I'm sure they're looking into the mobile capabilities of it. I think that would be if it's not on the beginning of it, I think that would definitely be implemented in the nearest future. We're kind of behind on where we wanted to be in other aspects, so I would just say, hey, let's try to get it live. Let's get it optimized mobily if possible. That would be my mindset, right? That would make sense. I feel like that's possible. So let's. I hope so. I'll try to get that information out to you as soon as I can, though.
All right, last question so far from CJ again. If nodes are constantly being created, then is increasing the token supply an inevitability? Still, it's my second language. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I understand what he's saying there. So, kind of reference what I just mentioned there, where there is always a path forward. And yes, I don't love that they're so cheap right now that we can create Everest for pennies, literally dollars technically, but it's so cheap compared to what it was. So yes, it is going to keep increasing emissions, but with that little rant that I went on before, if we had a revenue stream that allowed us to burn, let's say our price doubled, 5 million tokens in a month, 1 million tokens in a month, doesn't matter, whatever that number is, that puts us at least on a path forward rather than backwards. And that's where I want us to get. Is I'm not going to solve our problems overnight with one investment. Nobody can. But we need to start trending that in the right direction, little by little, step by step, because that's the way that we get to the top. If you try to jump from the bottom of a staircase all the way up to the top of it, you ain't going to make it, then you're going to fall down, right? So you got to take that step, get 3.5, get 4.0, get the investments working, do a buyback and burn, get all these working together, because unless you get them all working together, it's just going to be a mess, and you're going to set unrealistic expectations and all that stuff there. So we're going to keep working on our end. We're moving forward with the investment things in the sense of conversation. So I think we'll start getting towards those sooner rather than later. So we'll keep in touch there. I think there's hopefully going to be some good information put out there in the near future.
Right, I think that was the last question.
All right, so that looks like everything. Okay, so what I'll go into now is just a simple closing. Hey, thank you guys all for joining us here. Obviously, there is, it's been it's been a pretty busy AMA. Actually, this is one of our better AMAs of recent times here. So shout out to each and every one of you who joined us. Unfortunately, I went into some rants that might cause some tables to be flipped, so please don't flip the tables. Let's just have a good civil conversation on investment opportunities. If you decide to do that, I'm here with you as well. So allow us to work together. We're going to be good. We're going to keep building the brand. Again, thank you all for joining us on this week of the weekly community AMAs here at Polar. Shout out to Julian for helping me out here again today. Shout out to the community. Shout out to the team. Shout out to everybody working here. We'll catch you in the chats throughout the week. And then, of course, same time, same place next week here in the AMA. And WG, I'll answer your question in text. So shout out to you guys. Talk to you guys soon.